Not only are you invading my personal space, but you're doing it without a mask. Listen, I've become a bit Chinese now. I just lost it and I was like, 我不要拍照，我不要拍照。这种过来。It turns out that's illegal. We didn't know that, so the police. Hello, Sunibonani, Ni Hao, and hey, it's your girl Busi here, and today I will be bringing you guys a short little Q&A. I asked you guys to send me some questions on Instagram about what my life has been like in China since, you know, we kicked Corona's butt. And yeah, so if you're not following me on Instagram, do so you can take part in the next Q&A video. Okay, these questions are very random. Okay. Are you used to being the exotic other? How do I say this? I'm used to not looking like everyone else, but I cannot get used to people taking pictures of me in a very rude way. Listen, I've become a bit Chinese now. If I see something weird or something that's like, you know, I want to take pictures of it, I want to take videos of it, but I do it in a sneaky way. I don't just like, you know. So for me, if someone is gonna sneakily take a picture of me, as long as I don't realize it and I don't get affected, like, it's whatever. But when people are like taking selfies with me without asking, without acknowledging me as a person, like I'm an animal in a zoo, I can't get used to that. And the last time this happened was yesterday. Today's Sunday. Yes, it was yesterday on the train, and I was so upset because these people were so obvious. It was a group of 3 people, and they were sitting on either side of me, and I was playing music, but I lowered my music because I could hear that the man was talking about me. So I wanted to listen, so I lowered my music so I could hear him. And he kept on telling the woman who he was with, who was next to me, to talk to me, to say something to me. And this one was like, no. And then he was like, look at her phone. What language is she typing? Can you understand what she's typing on her phone? And I was like, what the heck? And then this man started showing them pictures on his phone. So now they're passing their phone in front of me. And then, boom, the camera app opens. And now they're taking pictures of themselves and of me. And I'm just like, you know what, it's fine. My station is coming up. My station is coming up. Oh no, can I tell you, this woman stands up on the train. Now she's taking pictures. She's standing up literally in front of me. Does she not fall? She fell. Now, I'm not someone who revels in people's misery because, like I said, I'm an empath. But I felt nothing. When she fell, I felt nothing. Now everyone on the train can see what's happening, so everyone's like looking, and then she comes back in front of me and she's trying to take a picture, and then I just lost it and I was like, 我不要拍照，我不要拍照. Like, I don't want a picture, I don't want a picture. And then the guy who was on my right, who was with them, he's like, oh, you don't want a picture? Like, oh, okay. And then the woman was like, she sits back down and she's like trying to explain, and she's like, oh no, these are my 他们是我的同学们, blah blah blah, like these are my classmates, and they're like visiting Shanghai, and I haven't seen them in so long, so we're just taking pictures of ourselves. And I'm just like, I'm like, sorry, my Chinese is not great, but what you're doing is really impolite. And she was like making up excuses. And then the man who was on her left, who was the original person who was like trying to get her to talk to me, he's like, oh my gosh, she speaks Chinese. And I'm like, are you a student? And I have earphones on, right? So I keep taking them off, answering questions, putting them back on, and they're like touching me, asking me questions, and I was like, why are you talking to me? So yeah, this lasted 10 minutes, and then finally when it was time for me to get off, they got off with me. So I literally ran, because like, nope, I ran out of that station. they didn't delete the pictures that they took of me. So yeah, anyway, I'll never get used to that. It's just rude. I don't think in any culture anywhere in the world it's okay to just take pictures of people like that. So that was from Wandile, not a question. Just want to say you look gorgeous. Thanks, Nilu. Okay, from J_J, what's your honest overall experience as a black person living in China? So, the thing is, China's a really big country. I don't think people realize just how big China is and just how many different types of cities, and you know, it's just really, really different. So, city folk and like Bidima farm folk, like village people, Nonsunren, very, very different. So I live in Shanghai, which is the biggest city in China and the most international city, I should say. I can only speak about that experience, and my experience in Shanghai as a black person has been good, mostly good. And I can say this, I've lived in a few different countries. I've lived in Norway, Sweden, Ireland, I've lived in South Africa. So for me, I can say that China is the first place where I feel like I am foreign before I'm black. And that's the first time anywhere I felt like that. In South Africa, I feel like I'm black before I'm anything else. In Norway and Sweden and stuff, I felt I was black. Like, people would, it was like, that's a black person. And then, oh yeah, she's a foreigner, blah, 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 blah. That's just how I felt, right? But in China, I feel like when people see me, they're just like, Uyghur, like foreigner, foreigner, foreigner. They're not like, here, black person, right? And it's because you're special. Like, you really do feel special in China as a foreigner. And I think in Shanghai especially, it's more of a good thing than a bad thing. A lot of Chinese people think that foreigners get a lot of preferential treatment, which to some degree is true. You know, foreigners are respected. It's like an international thing to foreigners. I have had situations where I've been asked to go to a friend's like company to pretend I work there because they were having an investor come in and they wanted to make it seem international. I didn't go because I had a prior commitment. But there are situations like that. I have a friend who's actually, you know, given a presentation before to a bunch of Chinese businessmen in English. He gave it in English, but he didn't know what he was talking about and they couldn't understand. But it's because he's a foreigner, he's a white man, so they kind of just view that as being like an international respected company. I've mostly experienced positive experience because I'm a foreigner. There's certain things that I can't do as a foreigner in China, which is frustrating to me, but it's not because I'm black, it's because I'm a foreigner. And also, I have friends who are foreigners who are Asian, so for them they can blend into society better here. So but it's always not, it hasn't proven to be a good thing always. So for example, my friend is from Russia, but she looks Mongolian-ish. People think she's Chinese, so she has gotten like in trouble for things because they assume she's Chinese. We're going to another city on a train, and they made us go in through like a special way because we were all foreigners, and I think there was like 5 or 6 of us. And then they stopped my friend. They were like, where's your ID card? Where's your ID card? And she was like, and she had her passport obviously because she's Russian. So, you know, there's situations where I think it could be a disadvantage to look Chinese as, you know, as a foreigner who looks Chinese rather than a foreigner that doesn't, because you're obviously a foreigner. I had a situation where I was with my roommate and we were riding bikes and we rode across the zebra crossing, and it turns out that's illegal. We didn't know that, so the police officer stopped us and he wanted to fine us, so we pretended we couldn't speak Chinese. We were like, Timidong, like, I don't understand, and then he asked us for our student cards because he could speak some English. We showed him our student cards and it said language students, and he got so mad. He was like, you guys, of course you understand Chinese, you're studying Chinese. So then we were like, a little bit, and then like I kind of flirted with the guy and then he let us go because we're obviously foreigners, so he didn't fine us because I didn't know that this was a rule. I was like, no one told us. And you know, so I feel like I have been able to get away with a lot of things. But of course, when the Guangzhou situation happened, a lot of black people were being discriminated against because they're black and African. And I know of many different people who have had very negative experiences because they're black, like, you know, such as being kicked out of their apartments, and or people not getting jobs in certain schools because they're black, and the schools just want white teachers. And I know of situations where, you know, I've seen job ads where they say they're specifically looking for European white teachers, and then some of them will say looking for teachers, and they say can accept blacks, and it's like, what does that even mean? So of course white supremacy is a global phenomenon, so it exists, it definitely does exist. Like I said, I mean, for me, it's harder for me to get away with just doing certain things because I stick out a lot. So when I tried to move in, they stopped me instantly because of course I look like a foreigner. So, but if I had looked Asian, like Chinese, I could have probably moved in without any problems. So yeah, I mean, those are my personal experiences. So how hard are the Chinese people in terms of racism and bigotry? Well, when it's bad, it gets bad. And but like I said, I haven't experienced anything super negative firsthand. But I think it's just a thing that is like how this Chinese society is. They're very nationalist rather than racist. But of course, racism plays into it. But also because of, there's a lot of things that we know are racist because of the history, the global history, but China was a closed society for so long that most Chinese people don't know. Like, in terms of maybe calling a black person a monkey or an ape, right? It's very obviously racist. But I think a Chinese person would be like, it wouldn't automatically click that that is being racist, because they would say, but you could call a Chinese person a monkey and you could just mean they're acting like a monkey, and it's not necessary. It wouldn't click to them because they don't know the historical context of it all. I saw that gallery of where they had all these animal pictures and like black people next to them, like kind of comparing the black people to the animals. For me, it clicked instantly that this is not okay. It's obviously racist. It's terrible. But then after thinking about it for a while, I was like, yeah, I understand how they didn't get that this was racist. To the photographer, right, who obviously went to Africa, to some village, and captured these beautiful pictures of these black children and black people, and also these animals, and they drew like a parallel against, you know, these two things, and they're like, wow, like, you know, and for them that was just it. It was like Africans looking like the nature around it. But obviously to everyone else it's like, you can't compare black people to monkeys, because they don't understand the context of it. So I could say that there's a lot of ignorance here. China is its own closed society to a large degree, and yeah, so I take a lot of things with a grain of salt because I know what they have access to and what they don't have access to. So yeah, that's all I can say. How has the discrimination against Africans been lately? So this is a question from Nuli. Basically, I kind of discussed this in my previous answers. In Shanghai, we didn't actually really have much of this. So and during, like, you know, the peak of all of this, I stayed my ass inside because I was like, I don't even want to be in a situation where, you know, I'm going to experience anything like this. And when I did think I was experiencing racial discrimination, it turns out I was wrong. I was trying to enter a building and the security guard stopped me and he let everyone else through. And I got so upset and I was like, why are you letting them through but you're not letting me through? And I just was like, why me? Why me? And the security guard is like, because I know them, they work here. Do you work here? Like, I've never seen you before. Have you come here before? And I was like, yeah, just not not this year. So of course there is racial discrimination, especially not in the, you know, bigger cities. I mean, Guangzhou is a big city, so like I say, I'm speaking about my personal experiences. I could speak about other people's experiences, but you know, people have spoken at length about their experiences, and if I find some videos, I can link them down below. Okay, so 2 questions about food, one from Dasha and from Kay. Another one from Kay. How's the food, or what's your favorite street food? So right now there isn't a lot of street food. There aren't a lot of street food options because okay, in the past there was a lot of street food. My friend told me that, who's Chinese, told me that growing up there was a lot of street food, and that he used to go out to street food markets and stuff with his mom, and that it was really good. But then the government decided to get rid of all of those street food vendors because it was like dirty and polluting the scenes of the city, so they did that. But now he told me on Friday that the government is now encouraging street food again. So right now I don't have any favorite street food, except there's this place outside, Found 158, which has street food. So at like 3 a.m, 4 a.m. in the morning, you can go have some fried rice, fried noodles. Yeah, that's really good in the AMs. Okay, and how is food? You know how food is, Dasha. Food is food here. Wow, very quick. And this is?
I don't know.
Okay, we don't know what this is.
I don't know what.
But someone decided to order it, so we'll try. Really, like we're struggling to hold on, but I've started cooking a lot. So yeah, I'm happy with the food that I make. Okay, so how is the COVID situation being dealt with where you are public places open? And this is from Ich bin Jane. So basically, I can speak for Shanghai only, and everything's open. So yeah, now schools are open, and universities are open to Chinese people, not international students, and they're being very strict still on safety measures. So if you are on a campus and you're staying there, so international students who stayed in school or on a campus during the outbreak have not been allowed out. Well, in my university, yeah, so they can't go out. They have not been allowed out since the beginning of February. So yeah. And my other friend, she is allowed out, but they have a curfew of 9 p.m. every day. So yeah, it's they are taking a lot of or they took a lot of drastic safety precautions during the peak of the outbreak, and that's why life has been able to move on quite, you know, swiftly. Now you don't have to wear masks in public anymore, but you do have to wear them on public transport. So for example, on the subway or in a bus, you have to wear a mask. And at the entrance of the subway, like when you go through the security thing, they have the those heat, I don't know what they're called, guys, but it's those cameras that can detect heat on a body. And yeah, so when you walk past, they can see if you have a temperature or not. And in this other station, they just check your temperature using a thermometer. Sorry, I'm tired. It's after midnight, it's actually 1 a.m. People have been really lax now with wearing masks. So before, well, actually during the peak of the outbreak, I did not go on the subway. Our university said we can't take public transport, so I didn't. But people will have their masks on in the train, but they'll have them like with their nose showing, or they'll have them just down here. Or some people just take them off. Yesterday, the people sitting next to me who were annoying me, they didn't have their masks on. And I was like, not only are you invading my personal space, but you're doing it without a mask. So yeah, I also had an incident where this old lady was staring at me, like she was staring at me on the train, and I literally just like gave her a look like this. I was like, and this woman takes off her mask and she smiles. She's like, and then like she puts it back on, and I pretended not to see her because I was not about to take off my mask. So yeah, people are really relaxed now. I think people are like, now it's gone. The guy, he's my friend. We have dinner every Saturday, and he never wears his mask, like in the mall and stuff. I'm like, why aren't you wearing a mask? He's like, it's over, darling. He's like, it's over. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think the locals are pretty much, you know, think it's over. So yeah. In other cities though, they have different rules and different measures, obviously, and also intercity and interprovincial movement is heavily monitored. So and each city has its own health code. So yeah, I mean, last night I went out with my friends, and when we went into Found is like this place that has many bars and a club, 2 clubs or something. So when we went, like when we tried to go into Found, the security guard stopped us and he was like, health code, and I was like, oh, they actually asked for that. One of my friends didn't have her phone because she lost her phone, so she's like, I don't have a phone, and he was like, oh, is she your friend? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, okay, go through. I didn't even open up my health code. I just went to my app and I was like trying to open it, and he's like, it's fine. So I mean, they're very lax now about it, so it means that people really believe that we're on the other side of this. So, and I'll also insert a clip from last night of like how many people were there.
We're gonna get sick. This is cool.
It was crazy. There were thousands of people there, like literally thousands of people. So yeah, I mean, today I started coughing and I was like, oh my god, did I just really put myself at risk? But I think it was dust. I hope. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook if you want to keep informed with my thoughts and stuff. And yeah, remember, Black Lives Matter. And don't forget to sign the petitions in the description box. Do what you can. So, I'll see you guys next time. Mwah!